Ladies and gentlemen, from Boston to Bangor, you have the New England BadCatz Sports Podcast, week number 4. Okay? And preseason is over for us. We're kicking into a high gear with the picks. Riley was the undisputed winner of preseason picks. That's why he has, to my chagrin, can we get that?
Move to the,
Look at that. Look at what we got to deal with,
Thank you.
Look at what we got to deal
See,
with.
taking this thing out and walking around with it in the streets really made me like want to go back to Denver so bad.
Really?
And I just
so instead you said you'd put it up in a New England-based podcast as the backdrop.
Yes, of course.
Of course.
But like, my picture doesn't come up much, so it's
No. I want the Chelsea thing. And listen to me.
it's not as big. That's the only reason.
Before we get into it, I know you guys are not Benfica fans.
definitely.
But as a Portuguese soccer league, that was a win for Sporting. It was a win for Porto.
Everyone,
I have
all the way down to the bottom.
All the way down to the bottom. That's what, even though we know Bacchus dropped, but to still be one of the great names in history of international soccer.
Barcelona is literally a top team in the world
Sure.
for years.
Perennially.
Yes, exactly. They've been,
It's the fall of the Giants.
Yeah, it's the fall of the Giants now. But yeah, I mean, as a big Porto fan, and I hate Benfica,
Me too.
the more the Portuguese teams go farther in these big European tournaments,
the bigger the payroll's going to be, the bigger success you're going to have. You can't look at that through a small lens, my brother.
Nope.
There's some big picture things.
Huge.
Some of these crazy Portuguese soccer fans out there don't see it. I'm like, my brother, listen to me. Put that small lens away. Wins like this, let Porto get a few, let Benfica get a few, let Sporting get a few. And now the more money comes in, now maybe you can keep some players instead of developing them and selling them off.
Yeah, like I told you before the show started, 2 years ago we were the seventh ranked league in Europe.
Now they're like 4th or 5th,
and
right?
we were just 5th, and we're going back and forth with France right now. Which
So who's out? Who's out?
So we.
Hold on. Let's ask the Hurricane. Burgeoning. So I'm going to name
Number 1 should be easy. Come on.
Yeah, Premier League.
Thank you, Mike.
Number 2, Bundesliga.
I believe that's true.
Yes, I would also agree with that.
La Liga.
I also believe.
I would also
true.
believe
Number 5, I would go.
4.
4.
Yeah,
all right.
you didn't
4,
say 4.
I would say the Paris League, the one in Europe.
Yep.
All right, so I got the La Liga.
Yeah, you got.
I got Premier League.
Bundesliga.
I got Bundesliga.
So that's Germany, Spain, and England out.
Okay, I would say the league with Belgium and Denmark, probably.
Nope.
No.
Oh,
Italy.
Ah,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I knew that.
Italy just won the Euro Cup too. So
Yeah, so that helps.
that's something that help you remember. That's it.
Yeah. And how did Juventus do against Chelsea?
They actually don't want to talk about it.
What, they beat you?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah, and they've won one game all season.
And that's $250 million in red.
Yeah.
But that's small change.
But that's every team right now because of COVID affected like soccer a lot. So a lot of teams are.
But when they say they're in the red for 1 year.
No.
Hold on. Let me tell you something.
few.
Let me tell you something, corporate works. Okay. They're going to come in there. They're going to write it off on taxes. Okay. Believe me when I say it.
Well, Barcelona's been
Corporations have a
billion.
very creative way with the pen.
Well, that's why Barca couldn't keep Lionel Messi.
Sure.
They didn't even have the money to retain his contract. Which
But they'll downsize. They'll write a lot of it off. They'll recoup some, possibly from insurance, possibly from God knows what.
And now that
They'll
people are in
reload.
the stands,
In 3 years, they'll be right back.
Yeah,
They'll be right back.
people in the stands is really
Now,
gonna help.
Juventus, with the Italian economy being a little more volatile, right, might be a different story. There's a scandal there's an economic scandal every other week.
It really is.
Every other week.
Did you know that about 10 years ago, maybe 12 years ago, they actually got kicked out of the top tier of Italy and down to the bottom tier and lost a lot of their players because there was a scandal like that.
Yeah.
And they had to go all the way back down to the second tier, even though they're the best team in Italy.
Sure.
Wipe the floor with all the bottom tier teams and then make it up. That's how corrupt
that
Italy is.
that league needs the professionalism of the Premier League to go in there and say, okay, listen, all this funny money, all this dark money, you know what I mean? It's over. We're a corporate league now. That's what it is. And I think sports is better that way because I think it keeps a lot of the bad guys out. I mean, let's face it. If you're a questionable character, you're not getting a professional sports franchise in this country.
Nope.
I mean, Donald Trump was the president of the United States, and the NFL told him no.
Yeah.
No, real talk, right?
He had the USFL team.
But didn't he want to?
Yeah, I don't remember what all the details.
I believe. I mean, the Major League Baseball told Cuban no, right? I think a couple of times. They're very, very difficult to penetrate that blue blood. You know, it's a little different today because they can't do things in the dark like they used to, and I think it's better today. You know, we need more minority owners. We need more of these tech guys with big money and these big brains. Mm-hmm. I'm all for it, but big week for Portuguese soccer, and like I tweeted where I'm from, I says, I don't know about you, Jack, but where I'm from, it's a big deal. I put hashtag forever NB, Euro, Champions League. So that's good. Do we get the video? I mean, do I get to do the wind up?
We got the video.
Hold on. All right, first up, batting leadoff, okay, the man with the $1 million memory. Okay.
Maybe even $1 billion.
Okay, the $1 million memory, okay.
Sometimes selective memory.
It's the Birdman, but his name ain't Larry. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, I'll give you my brother from another mother. Red Sox aficionado, going to bring it down for us, my man, Birdie, to the left of me. Birdie, come on, you got to give like a little something.
What are we talking about there? Are we transitioning to the Red Sox?
No, we're setting up his big day. This is Shaky's big day, right? Next up. The man they call Sage. Some call him Ice Age. I'm going to show it to you right now. We don't got no pussies on this show, okay? We don't got.
Ready?
We don't get nothing like that, okay? You want to talk? We talk about BadCatz. Well, this puts the BAD capital CATZ in it right now. Show them this video, Riley. What? And that's not even the best one.
That's not even the best one.
That's an 18-year-old Ice Sage.
Yep.
These guys out of their fucking mind or what? How many times have you done that to Riley off the bunk bed?
No, Riley. How many times have I had you do that to me when you had no idea what you were doing?
Yeah,
and I was like,
a lot
don't worry. Just flip and I'll go with you. You'll be fine.
Yeah. That's hilarious. And
not many people I trust more.
Look what this kid has done to my studio here. All right, right now.
Rat bastard.
That rat bastard. Look what he's done.
Come on, Sage, you like it.
I do.
But we played it. Yeah, you were both conspiring on it. I know how it goes.
No,
listen.
All right, so the thing was, right, I was supposed to bring in a Chelsea one, but it's literally like this big. Yeah. That's it. And it's going to cover like that much. So it does nothing. And then I feel like I looked at this one, I was like, I'm going to be honest, I was like, I don't want to take this down because I have to put it back up. But it's just going to cover pretty much the whole thing. The other one's only going to be like literally this big. So I was
what
like,
you should do is, I am the biggest Broncos fan in the world. Hit me up at Rowdy Riley BadCatz, blah, blah, blah. And make some money with that. Okay, but so now, the art of compromise.
Yes.
Right? So whoever wins the pick show.
Picks what's back there.
Picks what's back there.
Yes.
We're rocking and rolling with that?
That's.
But I want to add some flavor and color.
Yep.
With the magnets. Is the magnets the right move?
Yeah, I think magnets.
You're talk to Lisa if we can get them from that printer that she deals with.
All right.
Up there, the place in.
I like that idea. Every week it should change if there's a.
You'll put a sticker if Derek Carr throws for 450 yards and beats Pat Mahomes all the time. We wrap it up there.
I hope not.
You know, I mean, if Teddy Bridgewater emerges as the most efficient passer in a conference, that's a miracle.
Which he is.
So we're rocking and rolling. One thing I want to talk about, right, before we get into the football, is this. And I know I'm prepared to what you guys are going to say. Okay. But the fact that they did not make Ronaldo captain of Man U is a fucking joke.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No, because there is like I can name you at least 4 players who should be over him, which is Bruno, who
What do you mean by be over him?
as a captain, because I'm not gonna lie to you, he's not a captain material at all. What he did for Portugal was not right. You do not take your armband off, throw it on the floor, and kick it because you're upset. Like, as a captain, you should be leading your whole team.
Riley,
And for Portugal,
the
he's the
amount of pressure
captain.
that is on that guy.
That's
He's
fine.
not a computer.
That's fine, but I've never seen Brady take his jersey off, throw it on the floor, and kick it. And Brady has the most pressure on him out of any player, maybe ever.
More than Ronaldo
Yes.
or Messi. I'm not so sure
Pressure
about
on
that.
Brady?
I mean, it's the first time. You know, man, I don't think Brady. I think Brady's answered all the questions about pressure.
Didn't LeBron rip his shirt off after they lost to the Celtics one year?
Listen, my brother threw his shirt in a jersey after they gave him an MVP award after somebody who died because at Durfee they don't play for MVP awards, they play for championships and they lost in the finals. Athlete, listen, that's why we don't lock athletes up for fighting anything because you cannot judge a human being the same way after coming out of playing against 80,000 crazy people screaming with that adrenaline. You know, they're not going to react like a normal citizen should. So we can't really hold them to the fire like that. I think this, okay? You know, Kevin Durant goes to his team. He's going to be a captain right away. LeBron James is going to be a captain. They made Tom Brady a captain in the National Football League, okay? They made Ray Bork a captain when he went to the Avalanche, right? Who was already a Stanley Cup winner. Zeno Chara became a captain wherever he goes. But not to make Ronaldo.
But Ronaldo's not the captain wherever he goes. He was on Real Madrid for 10 years.
Yeah, 9 years.
9 years, and Sergio Ramos was the captain. And then, Ike Casillas, and then Sergio Ramos. He's only captain Portugal, and that's, I believe,
recent, very recent.
Like just a few years ago, he became captain.
That's foolish.
So,
and Juventus, he was never the captain either.
He wasn't even the captain at Juventus.
I just think for soccer it's so different because you have players who do so much for the team but don't lead. Like, you need to be able to lead everybody. Like, the best player is not always the captain. Yeah. Like, N'Golo Kante, who plays for Chelsea, he's our best player. Like, he's the best player at his position in the world. But he doesn't speak. He's very quiet, keeps to himself. Ronaldo's not the type of guy he's outspoken, but in the wrong way sometimes. Like, he'll be out and be like, get upset, which is fine to get upset. But as a captain, you need to lead everybody else.
This kid has grown up with the spotlight up his ass since he's been 12 years old. Tell me the worst thing he's done.
Well, off the field, nothing.
Tell me what thing's done on the field.
There's a lot. I mean,
tell me what. Tell me something.
Well, okay, so a few weeks ago...
but you got to put this in context. This is where I went. This over a 25 years time frame. Yeah. I mean, I was just reading something the other day about Ronaldo is the perfect pitch man because everybody loves him because he's clean as a whistle. No. Okay, tell me why.
Because I don't know if I'm crazy, but I've seen a lot of things where, like, even a couple weeks ago against Ireland or whatever, the guy moved the ball off the penalty spot, which obviously shouldn't do. But then he punched him in the face. Like, you don't punch a guy in the face because he moves the ball off the spot. Like,
punch his teammate in the face?
No, punch the other player in the face. Like, okay, it's not right to move the ball off the spot, but you don't punch somebody in the face because they touched the ball.
But how do you know that you know the backstory? Maybe the guy was calling his wife a slut or his mother or something like that. Before, I mean, we don't know what's happening after that. You can just look at that thing and evaluate it like that. So, but what is his reputation? Is he selfish, possibly?
Well, arrogant has been, that's been the word around him his whole career. And that comes from him being so skilled as a youngster. And he
and so good looking. Let me ask you a question. Would they call him cocky or arrogant if he had 5,000 zits on his face and a nose this big?
They didn't call him that in sporting, so no.
They do for Ibra, and Ibra's not a good looking guy.
You know where I'm coming from, right?
I know what you're saying. And as a youngster, he ruffled a lot of feathers by being so flashy that people would just start dropping him constantly. Same thing Neymar does. Neymar will do a rainbow over somebody when they're up 3-0 and then cause an all-out brawl because of it. And those are the little things that can make you not.
And didn't we discuss about like the little rules behind the rules? I think they're very silly. I think they're silly in baseball. Mm-hmm. I think they're silly. There's some silly ones in soccer.
Yeah, the unwritten rules
of it.
Yep.
Yeah. So Ronaldo not worthy of being a captain, even though he's made Man U more money than any other captain in recent memory. Because he started his career there. Well, that was the second place he went to, right?
Second team, yeah.
Second team he went to. And, he's rejuvenated their fan base. Yep. He's got him on the top of the sports pages again, where they had falling off. They weren't even the number one dog in their hometown.
No.
I don't know. I just think it's goofy. But you know something? I don't understand soccer culture like you guys do. And is it about Riley? Is it about the culture of soccer? The reason why he's not there?
Yeah.
No, it's just I just think there's a lot of players that's been at Manchester United who are great at leading and been there for longer than he has. Like to make a guy, it's so rare to find a guy that joins a team and instantly becomes the captain. Like that is completely rare. And
well, no, it's rare in soccer. It's commonplace in other sports.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. In soccer, it's like extremely rare because you find players who stay at teams longer. Like De Gea, who's the goalie, he's been Manchester United Player of the Year for like 5 years straight. Was Manchester United Player of the Year. The only reason why that team was doing even good. Harry Maguire has been the best center back on their team for a long time, leading them. Bruno has, since Bruno Fernandes got there 2 Januaries ago, they were at like 7th place. As soon as he gets there, right to the top, second place 2 years in a row. So, and he makes everybody better around him. So there's guys ahead of him that I think even if Harry Maguire isn't the captain, it would be Bruno and then De Gea and then.
Well, how come they're not getting paid that way though?
Bruno is definitely. Bruno's getting paid monster money, and so is De Gea. De Gea's one of the top 5 highest paid players in the league, I think, and Bruno's up there as well.
Is he making more than Ronaldo is?
That I'm not sure, but Bruno is I'll look it up right now, but I know De Gea is making a lot of money, and a lot of people are saying it's not worth it because he had a down season, and now he's playing a lot better. But I'll have to look into it.
So when all the men get together and they look at one another, right?
Yeah.
There's going to be voices in that locker room that are going to be more stronger and more valuable than Ronaldo.
Well, it comes from
because don't soccer players know, like basketball players know, who the best are?
Yeah.
Who the icons are, right? Right.
And Ronaldo is the icon.
Was anybody telling Diego Maradona what to do? And he was the biggest fuck up in the history of sports.
He really was.
Okay. Well, but I have a hard time believing that. You know what I mean? But I understand the soccer culture. It's all world. And you know something? It's probably a good thing. At the end of the day, I'm playing devil's advocate here. It's probably a good thing because I think we're too quick to crown somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But he's been around forever, hasn't he?
Sure, oh yeah. And he started Man U too. That's why I think if you went to, I could see them not making him a captain at Juventus, or not making a captain at Real Madrid. But I think going home for him. Does he have an assistant captain on him?
No, there's no assistant.
No.
He's just a captain
Just
on
a captain. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you learn something every day.
So De Gea is making $375,000 a week compared to Ronaldo's 480, which Ronaldo's making more, but as a goalie making only less than 110 less. I know that sounds like a lot of money, but it's not.
Well, it's 25% less.
Yeah, but he's playing a goalie. That's like ridiculously unheard of to make that much money. And that's what I'm saying. Like he's been there for he was on the team that last won the Premier League for Manchester United.
Which is how long ago?
Like 8 or 9 years ago, which is a ridiculously amount of long time ago because that was the last really good team Manchester United had.
So if they had all that good leadership before Ronaldo got there, how come they've been waiting for that long for a championship?
Because a goalie can only do so much.
Yeah.
And
there's other guys in that locker room too.
And he's been the best goalie, arguably, in the league for like the last... since that last League Cup to like 2 years ago, for like 8 years, he was like the best goalie in the league, if not the best goalie in the world. And he got paid like it, and not just.
I like the guy from Chelsea, the guy that retired recently, right? Who's a big guy? Where's the thing on his ears?
Czech,
Peter Cech.
Yeah, did he play for Chelsea?
Yeah, he
did.
Yeah. Yeah, he was awesome.
I know what's up, Riley. Come on, give me some love.
Wait, if I'm not mistaken, he's the goalkeeper coach.
Yeah, he's like higher up in the team.
Yeah.
He was the one that told them to go get their new goalie.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up, we got the National Football League Week 4 review and pick section of this. But first, there's a lot to talk about. There's some injuries. There's some free agent signings. There's some COVID, as usual. But first and foremost, it's all about the soap opera at Foxborough, Massachusetts. You cannot turn on the radio. They were actually breaking down Tom Brady's physical looks. And some girl was on it saying, he looks like shit. Right, Birdie?
Well,
he said, no, she said, she looked like he was on a 3-day bender in New Orleans during Mardi Gras and had just woke up from it.
Oh, my God.
I've never seen Brady's looks being criticized before, but... And she was a sportscaster doing it. Wasn't a citizen.
Yeah, she was on in the timing of this book now that's supposedly coming
out.
Oh, right?
Yeah. But you understand that timing is strategic. Of course. It's called free publicity, and it was a genius move.
Yeah, it was.
But for a team that prides itself on being the lockbox, of being that vault. It's certainly not a good day for the Patriots way, okay? There's excerpts about Bob Kraft feeling disrespected by Belichick. There's passages about the treatment of Tom Brady. There is the no face-to-face meeting that happens, which, if it is true, is
It's a bad look.
the ultimate ingrate.
Completely disagree.
Okay.
Because Brady literally, he was on Howard Stern, and I heard it.
Clarified.
He's like, oh, like it was.
When was you on Howard Stern?
Today? No, I'm not sure, but I literally heard a video, and I
know, I've seen the video.
He said, oh, it was like a Monday or Tuesday, I was late and I couldn't meet with Bob, but I wanted to call him and let him know my decision. And he's like, and Howard Stern's like, oh, was there tears? He's like, yeah, of course there was tears, because I was upset to leave, and I wanted to make sure that he knew, like, we're on the same page and stuff like that. Working for someone for 20 years is,
of course, yeah.
But
we're talking about Bill.
Yeah, they could.
Brady, you said Bob. Though.
Sorry, Bill.
Okay.
He said like, oh, we couldn't meet up because my schedule wasn't aligning with his schedule, but he called him to make sure they both knew.
There's a thing called athlete speak, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you think Tom Brady would ever say Bill Belichick fucking blew me off, or didn't meet me, or didn't do it? They would talk around it, right?
Well, especially the Patriots.
I don't care what the excuse was, okay? Mm-hmm. If Bob Kraft and Bill Belichick weren't there to walk him out of that locker room, that's sinful.
It just adds to all the disrespectful things like that you said.
Of course.
And it's just like putting the icing on the cake with this. I mean, it seems to me that Belichick, he made a big mistake in this whole thing. He looked at this. I think he thought Brady was done based on the last year and a half.
He thought he was done with Jimmy G, and he's got 3 Super Bowl titles since.
And that's why moving forward now, the narrative is just, forget about the 20-year run. The narrative now is what's going to happen from the breakup. I'm moving on.
Sure.
And it's been all Tom Brady so far.
Yeah.
Okay, and let's, we talk this, but I want to talk to Rowdy. So, Rowdy, let me ask you a question, right? Do you believe that every athlete should be treated equal and covered and treated that way by the organization? Do you believe that?
Yes, because the team comes first, not the players. No matter who the player is. I mean, Von Miller.
Riley,
yes.
Again.
Yes.
We're going to play this game again.
Yes, because Von Miller's my favorite player of all time, but if he was not good enough for the team anymore and taking too much money, okay, then he needs to go. The team comes first.
No, that's not what we're talking about here. You're changing the narrative of the argument.
How? I'm saying the team comes first.
But of course the team comes first. But that's not what the question was.
You said.
Can you please tell them what the question was?
Yeah, I heard you.
Tell me what it was.
You said, do you think everybody should be treated equally?
Yeah, sure.
And I said yes, because.
So you think Tom Brady should be treated like the long snapper?
Yes, because work is work. I don't think I should go to work.
Come on, Riley.
Okay, if I go to work, right, and my boss treats the custodian like shit and treats me fine, that's not fair to the custodian. We all
this
work
world
together.
Is unfair, brother. I'm not saying whether it's fair
fine,
or not.
But I'm saying
I'm not saying it's fair or not, but it's not true. You can't hold Tom Brady, who has 4 Super Bowl MVPs, to the standard of a long snapper who just made the team.
No, you're right.
It doesn't work that way.
Should it be that way, Riley?
No, it shouldn't be that way. But I understand the context. Yes,
it's not a perfect way. And what you're talking about as far as sports and athletics, with the amount of money that's involved, and with the elite level athlete, of course, it's not going to be that way.
Of course it's not.
No,
it's not even. You know what I mean? Like Michael Jordan made the bus wait 9 hours in Atlanta. Yeah. Do you think Craig Hodges is going to keep that bus waiting for him?
No, absolutely.
It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way in life.
No.
Are you treated like your boss is treated?
I wish.
What?
I wish.
Riley, are you treated like are you treated like, I don't know, give me an example. Yeah, are you treated like maybe is at work or one of the directors of the club or something like that? Does it happen that way?
I'm just saying it's not fair to treat people because of what.
Okay.
Because of how. I don't know, just.
But we're not in a philosophy class here.
Okay,
we're in
that's
the
fine.
fucking.
I'm just giving you.
We're in a sordid world of professional sports, and in a perfect, like, what did Nick Saban say? He said, I'm so fucking tired of hearing about every player gets treated equal. And this is Alabama, where you think it would be like that. And this is Alabama, where I know, and Birdie knows, he spent big money on non-starters to get treated, and where most coaches weren't even about it. Only 2 of the guys are contributors to this year's team. The other ones are never going to see the field. And this guy has long been a Belichickian guy. He's come from the Belichickian tree.
Under Belichick.
You know what I mean?
His philosophy is dealing with the media is very similar to what Belichick does.
You know,
not to his level, but it's similar.
Not everybody has the same game pressure as Ronaldo, Messi. Not everybody has the same fiduciary responsibilities to their team like a Patrick Mahomes has. Okay, with the contract like that. Not everybody has the responsibility of putting asses in the seats. 80% of the athletes can live in relative anonymity, walk in and out of the stadium unless there's some crazy stuff going on, and go about their business. So, but the guys who get it done and the guys who get paid the big money, you know, more money, more problems.
Those guys always under the microscope.
Of course, and all those guys, you know, perform, you know, and I understand in a philosophical world, Riley's a righteous dude, and he's a lot more wrong. He's a lot more right than he is wrong. But we're not into, you know, we're talking about the crazy world of sports where it's upside down. Let me ask you a question: the NCAA, are all schools treated the same? Is Duke treated the same as Morgan State? You know, is Kentucky basketball treated the same as Appalachian State? No, it doesn't work that way.
But I mean, just to go with this point, the one thing I think that might help Riley's point is, I think New England's whole team basis was like, you know, if you're late to practice, we've seen a lot of running backs get cut who are good players, or a few fumbles and you're cut no matter how good you've been.
Average players, yeah, my God.
But I mean, guys who are contributing a lot to the team. I think they kind of set the tone of like, keep everyone on their toes. Like, you have to do what's right. Malcolm Butler, I mean, he was a Super Bowl hero. And he missed a couple things. And yeah, I think Bill, I mean, from the outside looking in, it looks like he did his best to keep everyone accountable at the same level. So I think he was...
Sure, and it starts from that conversation you had with Lawrence Taylor, where Lawrence Taylor overruled... It's in his book. Have you read it?
No, I haven't read that, but I've seen that article.
You know what I mean? Where Lawrence Taylor tells him, you know, don't worry about me sleeping in meetings. Worry about me making sacks on Sunday. And Parcells by time. Now, something that outrageous, I don't go for. You know, but to think about everybody gets treated the same, I'm not sure. First of all, it's not practical, okay? And second of all, it does not happen. Now, in a perfect world, should it happen? I think it should. Now, yeah, I can understand where he's coming, but professional sports are far from.
But the Patriots are notorious for just cutting guys loose as soon as they're done with you. They're done. That's it. You're gone. Brady was no different. Seymour, William Lloyd. As soon as they saw a drop off in Brady's play, that was it.
This thing started over a practice ball where they give the game ball for practice, okay? And Brady had a great practice, and everybody agreed, and they gave him the game ball, and Belichick took it from him and gave it to some kid on special teams. And that's where it got old. And then if you listen to Teddy Bruschi and Teddy Johnson and Richard Seymour and guys that are in that locker room, when they're getting humiliated in front of 22-year-old kids who haven't even made the team yet, and they're getting dressed down, you know what I mean? I mean, these guys have kids now. Like they said about the book, Brady never stopped. Belichick never stopped looking at Brady as that 22-year-old quarterback that he helped model and make. You know what I mean? 20 years later, I think he was still looking at it like he was the same guy. Where he doesn't. He's got a family now and a wife. And even Stephen A. Smith, who I don't really agree with sometimes, said, men change. Like, you're going to let somebody talk to you your first 2 years on the job, right? That might have a little bit more experience and everything too. But you're not going to let that guy talk to you when you got like 10 years experience on the job. You evolve as a human being, right? I think so. All right, Riley, what's going on here, bud?
For what?
That's what we got going on. I don't know. We haven't heard from you.
I just even when going back to the Duke and point, even though it happens, doesn't make it right. Like,
but I said that though.
I know, but that's all I'm getting at. I'm just saying, even though it happens, I just don't agree with it happening. That's how it is for a lot of things in history in general.
We're talking about what's going on in Foxborough now with, I mean, so is there any reason why Tom Brady should feel disrespected?
Of course.
I'm
100%, of course.
Yeah.
There's a million reasons why that we've gone over. Starting with the fact that he was given large amounts of money in a salary, not taken, to be a team guy, to get players in it to improve the team. Nobody does that in sports nowadays. Mike, show me one guy. Of
course, 63 million.
And you could go on and on.
I mean, at the end of the day, they say it comes down to the money, right? There were two teams that put that met the minimum the requirements. 2 years at 25. Two teams put it on the table. 28 didn't. The team there. As far as the face-to-face meetings, if it was my organization, right, I would have every person there when Tom Brady walks out of that gym. As many people as I get my hands on to clap him and salute him as he leaves.
Well, I can't think that this book that come out is going to do anything more than make the Patriots look a lot worse with everything that we don't know that has gone on. I don't see how it's going to shed any light to make the Patriots look better. And the thing that I'm a little surprised at is that
maybe we're finding out about the Patriots that they're not better. Maybe they are. Maybe you hear the Mannings the other day. Maybe they are the cheaters that were talked about. Maybe it wasn't one big happy family. Maybe it was rather be feared than loved or respected. Because that's the title of the book, right?
Yep.
Maybe we're learning more about this. And if they do Tom Brady, how are they going to do everybody else?
Yeah, no, you hit the nail on the head. And the other thing that I would be surprised is how much Belichick is going to have contributed to this book, because that's not his MO. His MO is to deal with the media. He doesn't give them nothing.
Sure, but what happens with the book, and I've had two written about my family that were New York Times bestsellers, you can't let your guard down. Because these guys don't write the book in 3 months. They immerse themselves in your family, in your locker room for years. Forever Dreams was 2.5 years in the making. Yeah, you understand? Where human nature takes over and you let your guard down. Period. Riley, you gonna get the book and read it?
No, because there's too. I don't know what you want me to say. There's too much going around. Brady saying one thing. These people that are not him are saying something completely different. Like the Howard Stern interview for me was just perfect. It was him saying stuff that was just funny, where it was just talking about him smoking weed in high school, or we're talking about dicks, which is literally what they talked about. And then there was a serious part where
supposedly Brady's got a big dick.
Yeah, and then
to keep Giselle for that long, I think.
I know. Listen, I know two girls from this city that he had romantic affairs with, and they both said he was gifted. Yeah. So when was this Howard Stern interview?
It was around the time when he joined the Buccaneers, so last year.
And it's going to be interesting to see what they say.
Yeah, Bill also this week said it when he was asked about some of the things from this book. He said it sounds like a lot of secondhand, third-hand, fourth-hand information, which some of it could be like there's no smoke without fire, right?
Sure. I don't. I think smoke can be fabricated. I think the fire validates it. I know one thing, that they're dealing with the NFL, that in the second greatest recession of our country's history was one of 9 major industries to actually make money. There were only 9 of them that were doing it, and they were one of them. Okay? Which is, conspiracy proof. If you're going to come at the Patriots as a reporter, like my man Omar said from The Wire, if you take a shot at the king, you best not miss. So I don't think that ESPN, I don't think that the publishing company, I don't think about the corporate conglomerate that owns that publishing company.
They're going to have their rear end covered.
When For a Dream, there were 5 lawyers at the table who's put everything on the table and said, because we kept full control, sign in, sign out, sign in, sign out, sign in, sign out. You know what I mean? Like, is this valid? Yes, it is. Is this valid? Yes. Is this no? Take the top part out. Okay, sign here. Blah blah blah. I don't know what type of agreement that they've had. I doubt that the publishing company would have given the Patriots full control because nobody would read it. I'm just showing what I went through, and for them to do something like this at this level is big. Do you have a picture of Forward Dreams back there, Riley, that we can put up?
No, I can try to get one.
No, it's all right. Well, we're on to the next one. Okay, the face-to-face. Riley doesn't have a problem with it. Sage doesn't have a problem with it, does he?
I mean, I think they should have had a face-to-face, but again, I don't know the full story.
Sure.
I do think everyone deserves face-to-face. I saw Chad Johnson get one from Joe Philbin from the Miami Dolphins when he got cut. So, I mean, I don't know the full story, but I think it should have happened.
What do you think of the billboard? And what do you think about the talk about Belichick's record without Brady? Is that a viable argument? Because I'm starting to see a lot more of the talking heads referencing this record without Brady, where they didn't do it for 20 years when they had Brady there.
I said it before the season started that Belichick was going to be on the hot seat this year, and his record without Brady it is what it is. And moving forward, it's going to be a bad look for him if Brady succeeds again this year, and he doesn't, because he got everything he wanted in the offseason. He got the free agents, he got all his defensive players back. You know, and there's not going to be an excuse if they don't at least improve this year. You got the quarterback in the draft. I mean, they got to win. It's as simple as that. It's a winning league.
Is Belichick's legacy tied to his success
right there.
without Tom Brady?
No, he's
I should kill Bill Reynolds for that.
no, he's going to have. There's going to be two windows that are going to be looked at with Belichick. It's going to be the 20-year run that he had with Tom Brady, which is the greatest of all time.
Sure.
And it's never going to reflect on his legacy. He's first ballot Hall of Fame.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But you're going to have detractors, and that's why moving forward, if he does not have success and his record,
I would think personally it'd be very important to put two good years together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before he goes away.
He hasn't had any success. He didn't have any success with Cleveland, and the hardcore Patriot fan will remember this. When Drew Bledsoe took that hit from Mo Lewis, prior to that hit, they were 1-2, 1-3, and they did not make the playoffs the year before. There was rumors going around that they were getting ready to get rid of him. If you remember that, Mike.
Yeah.
If you go back and look at some of these documentaries.
Sure. Now let me ask you a question, Riley. How important is for Belichick to have success post Brady for him, the competitor, to the person looking in and talking about his record without him? You and Sage come in on this. Where are we at with this?
Well, before we do that, could you tell this person right here they want to know the name of the book for the Patriots?
For the Patriots. I don't know. Better to be feared.
Better to be feared is the name of the book. But going to the question.
Yeah.
I feel like to sidetrack a little bit, people forget the 2009 season, I believe, a little bit, where they go 11-5, and in the first game, I think, or second game, Brady tore his ACL, and that's where the Brady rule comes in, where you can't hit them low. And in that season, they literally went 11-5. The only reason why they missed the playoffs was because Sage's Dolphins also went 11-5, but won the division. So for me, that's a huge aspect people forget, because that team was a Brady team. But you just minus Brady and you put in, who was the quarterback? Because I don't know.
But let me tell you something to expound on that. And I don't want you to finish yet. That team would have been a dangerous out in the playoffs too.
And that's what I was saying.
They won like 7 or 8 straight games. Well, they finished 12-4.
11-5.
11-5 and did not get in.
But there was a lot of talent on that team. That was 2 years removed from the perfect season where they had solid.
But that's what
But Riley said, but you can't count the deuce without.
But this is what I was going to say.
That has to be part of that equation.
That 11-5 is part of the 62-74 record because Brady didn't play.
Yeah, but that's what I was going to say though.
That 11-5 is in that.
This team.
But I think you have to look at it in the context where, hey, listen. They didn't fall apart when Brady was done, like Riley said. I think that's a great point.
But this team that when Brady left, arguably one of the worst, if not the worst, offenses he's ever played it under. That team that he left from. Like, he didn't leave from a good team with really good players. Like, that offense was terrible. His best receiver was Edelman, and Edelman wasn't himself. He was coming off the downfall, 2 years away from retirement. His second receiver was N'Keal Harry, who couldn't hold on to anything. Like, that was the worst offense Brady ever came out of. So he didn't leave a great team.
Do you think? No, and I believe that. But do you think that falls on player personnel, which is Belichick, or you think that's Brady's responsibility?
No, I'm not saying it's Brady's responsibility. What I'm saying was like
sure.
the 11.
You don't think they should? You think? Let's look at Brady's weapons, right? To great quarterbacks. Has he ever had weapons like Mahomes?
Yeah.
Randy Moss.
Gronk is a big one for me because I believe Gronk is the greatest.
Gronk better than Kelsey.
Well, yeah, I think I was gonna say I think Gronk is the greatest tight end of all time. Okay. And he had him every single season. Gronk has been hurt a couple times, but he's already breaking tight end.
So you don't think they sent Brady out there with subpar offense wide receiver talent?
Brown, Deion Branch.
But what are those guys
Randy
doing?
Moss.
Brady.
Yeah, but what did they do before Brady?
Davey Pat, nothing.
Troy Brown did.
Wes Welker.
Yeah, Troy Brady did some.
Wes Welker.
I like Troy Brown was a rebound. David Patton got paid $45 million from the Redskins. Brady made a lot of those guys money. Deion Branch.
Yeah.
And then they were insignificant.
The first couple of years when Brady won the first few Super Bowls, those were defensive-led teams.
Yes.
The personnel they had Hall of Fame defensive players. Willie McGinnis, Ty Law. Seymour.
Sure.
So it wasn't
Roy Malloy, a Pro Bowler.
Brucey.
Then Belichick, he's very smart. He adapts. He brought a more offensive. He brought in people
because the league was changing. Sure.
And he was ahead of the curve. Randy Moss, a free agent with the Raiders, was trying to get out of there. They grabbed him. Wes Welker from Miami. He's seen the talent in these guys. You put them on that Patriot team. Now he's got an unbelievable defense. With an offense that can go with it, and that's why they
went 17-0. Yeah.
But why didn't this at the end of Brady's career though? What was the difference? Why didn't they have those type of weapons?
Maybe it's just bad timing, but also Gronk
could be bad timing.
Gronk was retiring, right? He retired at that.
N'Keal Harry was an absolute disaster.
Yeah, so that was what I was going to get to. N'Keal Harry, that pick was not just bad because he's bad. It was the people around him, like DK Metcalf, Terry McLaurin, who I'm a huge fan of. White. This is a bold take, but I think Terry McLaurin's better than DK Metcalf. There was AJ Brown, who was in that draft as well, who's also a ridiculously young receiver. You put any of those three guys on that Brady team, Brady's not going to look like he's falling off anymore because he's got three of the best, or out of the three best young receivers in the league. It's just bad timing, bad picks, and it was a bad time because Brady started to look like, okay, maybe he doesn't have it, and the receivers didn't help him. You know what I mean? And that's why I feel like it was wrong. It was just bad timing for everybody because I still really, truly, truly believe that Belichick can go 11-5 or 12-4 without Brady because he proved it before, and that was a really great team. You just got to give him time to build around what he has because that perfect season, he built around what he had. He built around Brady. He built around the defense, and he lost his biggest piece, but he still went 11-5. Now you take away his biggest piece at one of his worst times. You have to give him time to build around what he has, and he's already started to build that defense. He's got to build around Mac Jones.
But this is one thing that I think I put on Facebook last night that is very true. They say a rising tide floats all boats, right? Mm-hmm. Having a guy like Brady in that locker room, right? Guys are going to outperform themselves. Oh, what the thing? Do you agree with that?
Oh, without doubt. Without doubt.
All right, Bill Russell made everybody better. Yeah. Larry Bird made everybody better. Big Papi made everybody better. Messi makes everybody better. Gretzky made everybody better, right? And I think with Rowdy's argument, which is unbelievable, which is great because, and I didn't miss it. I had it in my notes, but it was low down here. But when he came in, he says, okay, we everybody's going to throw that billboard in his face and say this. But in the middle of the fucking madness, in the middle of Super Bowls, they went down, and that team was one of my favorite Patriot teams to root for. And I was bummed out when they didn't make the playoffs because they were rolling.
Yeah, they were.
They were rolling. And I think as a franchise, you can do that for a year or two if your big guy goes down because the culture's so strong.
Philadelphia, Nick Foles.
Yeah, when it was because the culture's so strong around them, okay? But it's not going to last forever. No. You know what I mean? Like, so
the
it's interesting.
Have been on such a credible run for so many years, and it shows you how what an inexact science the draft is. You don't hit on the draft 2-3 years in a row, and things can go bad for you real quick. And part of that might have been by them not hitting on guys. It brought the talent level down. And let's
not face it. If we're not in a win, Belichick is getting tortured for his drafts.
But I think he hits on picks. Just not the early picks, because the early picks have been historically bad. It's the later picks,
Second, third,
fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, undrafted guys who are not terrible, but not good on other teams come in and look like absolute monsters, and that's where I think he makes up for it.
And doesn't that fit his personality, where he was never a big time football guy?
Yeah.
His father was an assistant coach in Annapolis.
Yeah.
So he wants the overachievers, right?
Yeah.
He wants the grinders. He wants the subservient players where, listen, I played for a coach that made Bill Belichick look like a fucking choir boy. You know what I mean? And he was fucking 40 years into it when I played for him. Okay? And he set in his ways. He had this. Fortunately, he had this winning personality where not everybody got yelled at the same way, but he wouldn't yell at guys who couldn't take it.
Yeah.
He knew how to pick.
He knew how to pick and choose. So it was like a floating dartboard, but
It's more like being psychiatrist.
and that's how I would go about it.
You have to have that.
Somebody with low self-esteem, you can't beat up all the time.
Yeah.
But if it's true that Belichick, wanted to get rid of Brady before Garoppolo, I could see Brady being upset at him. And I could see if Brady knew that for sure, which he probably did, then I could see that's a souring point, one of them in the relationship.
Yeah.
Because it's my fucking job. Brady looks at it like it's his team. Belichick looks like it's his team.
Yeah.
The rest of the locker room looks like as it's their team. The both of them, right?
As it should be.
As it should be,
And
right?
so the point I was going to bring up was a lot of this stems from, Bill Belichick wanting to continue to grow New England, on this 20-year run. He drafts Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
So he thinks he has the successor
Sure.
there, and then
Okay,
he
Aaron
can
Rodgers
focus
solution.
on everyone else, right? And start getting receivers of these guys,
Sure.
right? But then Bob Kraft doesn't want Tom Brady to go, which rightfully so. I mean, you can
If you were
see.
Tom Brady, if you were Rob Kraft, what would you have done in that
I mean,
situation?
obviously, you want to hold on to Tom Brady as long as you can.
Sure.
But if you're Bill Belichick looking 3 years into the future, you want to make sure you have the guy who's
Sure.
ready, who can sit, who can watch. And I think a lot of the issues come from he was trying to build this team post Brady, and Bob Kraft was staring down at we have Brady, and that's such a big.
How many Super Bowls were won
concern.
after Jimmy G?
After Jimmy G?
Atlanta.
Two, right?
No, three. He was, I believe, he was the backup for the Seahawks.
Yeah.
He
But-
might have been.
Then it was
I'm not
Atlanta
sure.
and the Rams,
And do you know what Garoppolo's contract was? Was first year in San Francisco?
Oh, it's huge.
I think it was like $30-some million,
Yeah,
right?
he-
Yeah. So what happened was he got traded and he kept his contract that he had for the Patriots. But once he won 4 games in a row, they extended him to like 130 million, 140 million. And as soon as it happened, I said, "That's ridiculous."
I think
That's
Jimmy
big.
Garoppolo's a good quarterback.
I do.
I think you can win with him. I just don't know. Have they ever really bought into him in San Francisco? I mean,
That's the
They
thing.
just traded up to get Trey Lance.
yeah,
They just traded up to get Trey Lance. Come on.
That's the thing is, Belichick was full into him. He was going to give Garoppolo probably the same treatment he gave Brady, and possibly turn him into a Pro Bowl, a perennial Pro Bowl or top 10 quarterback. And then, but Bob.
Who has
Kraft
more
was-
impact on the development of Tom Brady, Josh McDaniel or Bill Belichick?
I think
As far as getting him better, fine-tuning him, out the idiosyncrasies of coaching.
I would say McDaniel, because Belichick's more defensive. He's more of a defensive guy than he is offensive guy. I would say McDaniel.
Riley, any thoughts on that? What do you think about that? Is it Belichick? Is it McDaniel? I don't know how it's going on.
I would say
says
Belichick,
Alabama football, essentially offense and defense, they detach from each other with the locker rooms, and there's a meeting room in the middle. Like, is that how it is? I don't know. I don't think locker room should ever be like that. I think locker room should be a circular, everybody looking everybody in the eye type of environment. Those are the locker rooms I've been in. When we have to figure it out in a little bit. Okay, back to the NFL right now. Okay, back to the NFL right now. Which undefeated team will be defeated this week? Raiders at Chargers, Broncos at Ravens, Rams at Cardinals, Panthers at Cowboys.
Well, you got the Rams 3-0, and I think the Cardinals are 3-0.
Yeah, so it's
No,
gonna be one of-
that was yes until the Cardinals are 3-0. Yep, they're both starred. Yep.
the way the Rams look right now, if they don't have a letdown after being up for the Brady game, I think not only that, the Rams have beaten the Cardinals 8 straight times. So I think the Cardinals might be able to keep it close, but the Rams look like the best team 4 weeks into the season.
Sure. So you say the Cardinals go down?
I'm gonna go with the Panthers going down to Dallas.
I agree.
I think Dallas has a lot to prove still, and I think that they keep coming up on the short end of the stick sometimes.
Yeah, no, I think that loss for Tampa Bay was good for them.
Yeah.
I think they showed that they can play with anybody.
Because that was a great game with Tampa Bay. I mean, I was watching that when I was in California, and I was loving both teams. And everyone knows how I feel about the Cowboys. And it was amazing to watch that. Sure. So I think
Carolina gets its comeuppance.
Yeah, with McCaffrey being out still.
I agree.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. Riley, where are you going with there?
Definitely not the Rams. Not the Broncos.
Just say it. I know you want to say it.
I want to say the Raiders, but I don't know because I really just don't know what's going to happen because I don't know. I just don't know. I'm going to go with the Cardinals just because the Rams are my Super Bowl team.
Yeah.
But I disagree.
Ride that wave, baby. You're looking
I disagree with the Panthers, though.
Ride that wave.
I think the Panthers have a really underrated team. Really underrated team. Sure. They could surprise a lot of people in that division.
Without McCaffrey, you don't think everybody kind of goes back?
He's only going to be out for 2 weeks. That's it. So it's this week, next week. I know it's 2 weeks, but say they lose one game and win the other. They still have the same record as the Buccaneers would if Buccaneers won 2 games. And that's huge because they're in the same division.
Sure.
I'm not saying they're going to beat the Buccaneers in the division.
What does McCaffrey have, a hamstring?
Yeah. They didn't put him on the IR. So the IR is 3 weeks. Yeah. So it gives me 2 weeks.
I would say soft muscle, 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks to get ready, the very quickest. Be very, very careful how you treat hamstrings because unless you take them right the first time,
then those can come right back.
They will come right back.
Their defense is very underrated. And I'm just not – I don't want to be – as the one team that I would pick, I wouldn't be surprised if they lose, but that's not the – I think they – I don't want to say guarantee, but I think almost a guarantee is the Rams winning because of DeAndre Hopkins. He's a little banged up. He was pretty much just a decoy last week. Yeah. I don't think he's going to do much, if anything, this week because Jalen Ramsey is just going to shadow him all the way around the field, and he's already banged up. So I'm going to go with the Rams.
How long is he long? Is he done for the year, or is he going to be back?
That's a good question.
I know he's got a broken foot, but I didn't see if they
Yeah, I'll look that up.
Gone for the year.
I'll look that up.
Let me ask you a question. Let's talk about the hangover after a big win because it's one of the talking points that I have to look at this. It's got to be a come down.
Well, that's the Rams this week.
From Tampa, right?
And this is a team that they beat.
What do they used to call these games?
The look ahead game.
No, not the look ahead.
No, that's something I know what you're saying.
You guys are driving me crazy. Trap games.
Trap game. Yeah.
Right?
Oh, is that when you're riding the high of the wind?
And you come down,
The next team is just as good.
The Rams going into this game, how you figure you just beat Tampa. Mm-hmm. You're looking at Arizona. We beat this team 8 times in a row. So how you're gonna go walk a team that you beat 8 times in a row before you look at what are you telling the team in the locker? Get up for the game. That's up to McVay, right? How he's going to get him up for this game.
Sure, it's going to be. No, I think this is where captains come into play. This is where the Jackie Slate is. This is where the guys behind the scenes who really run the locker room say, listen, that's the amazing thing that the Pats did throughout all of it is fuck the Super Bowls. It's just the consistency. You know what I mean? And the win. And as Rowdy talked about, even when Castle came in, it wasn't that much of a drop-off. Okay? That's when you got everything going in the right direction. It's just very rare that it happens.
Yeah.
You know, all the time. Mm-hmm. A lot of guys. How many times I talked about Rick Pitino? One of the most important things I ever heard in my life was him talking about surviving success. How many fucking sports stories do we have in this world about not being our teams not being able to survive success? Mm-hmm. You know, it is what it is. You know, that consistency. So we're going to see. I'm going to go with the Cardinals as well. Okay.
Nobody's going with the Broncos, huh? That scares me.
well, you got to beat up Jackson, right? And I think banged up, and I think that the Ravens are overrated.
Game's at Denver, though, right?
No,
yes. It's in Denver. It's in Denver.
No, it's in Denver.
Yeah.
Okay.
It just scares me because I don't like that everybody
that's
is not picking them.
Everyone picked Miami against Buffalo.
Because we also have a lot of injuries. Like our third receiver tore his ACL. number one receiver.
Judy.
Judy should be back in a couple weeks. But we did just sign this guy, David Moore. He was like the third receiver for the Seahawks a couple years ago. We just signed him. But this is the game right here that really scares me. But I like that everyone's confident.
Riley, you can't play 0-3 teams every week.
No, you can't. You can't. But we know. Hey, trick question, because we never played an 0-3 team. We played a 0-0 team. We played a 0-1 team, and then we played a 0-2 team.
Rachel, send this kid to law school right now.
And fun fact.
Send this kid to law school. Give it to him, Ralph.
Fun fact. Each team is 0-3. Because of one loss that we gave them, they didn't come to us as 0-3. They came to us.
Their combined record is.
And you know the Giants could easily be 2-1 because the only game that they lost by less than a field goal was us. They lost to the Redskins.
Doesn't cut it in the NFL.
I know, but they're not as bad as they seem. They lost to the Redskins on a last second field goal. That was a very bad call.
Well, that's proper context as he evaluates it. I'm going to tell you something right now about the Ravens. I don't think they're for real.
I do. That's what scares me.
I don't think they're for real. I think Mile High is a perfect place for them to get beat. You know what I mean? I think a defensive-led team like that, okay, let me tell you something now. What is the difference between a Jackson who's a step slow?
It's his back, so it's going to be something.
So he turns into Donovan McNabb?
Oh, but Donovan McNabb could throw the ball a lot better.
I know.
But yeah,
his speed,
his
he doesn't do what he did against KC.
No.
Being backed up and step slow.
Now his speed is.
And that's my whole thing with him. Like we've seen him before when the weather's nice and everything, but when you can't pivot because the turf is frozen, and landing on a frozen field and a frozen turf, it just gets different. We can all agree that the game slows down, right? I think that's cold up.
In January, absolutely.
So, so
doesn't help that you have a beat up back, because I mean, where are you going to land when you get tackled? On your back. So he's not going to want to get hit as much. He's not going to want to keep going and trying to shift around.
And him throwing under pressure. I mean, him throwing.
He's not a pocket passer.
And
let me say this, and they used him the best way. His perfect line should be 85 yards rushing, 220 yards passing, with 3 or 4 throws downfield as he approaches the line of scrimmage to keep people honest.
He's a much more elusive and much little quicker RG3 is what he reminds me of. RG3 wasn't really a pocket passer. He's kind of RPO guy also. That's the only comparison.
But the difference is RG3 I believe he had one of the highest completion percentage and QBR his rookie season. I
think the Redskins fucked him up. They're going to play on that turf with a bogus snake.
Lamar had a better completion percentage than Josh Allen did, I believe, last year. I do believe I was right on that one.
But you posted something on Facebook, didn't you, about the 3 quarterbacks that he had higher percentage completions than? Somebody did, and it shocked the shit out of me.
He's a lot. Last week, there was 3 throws where Hollywood Brown should have easily caught it and been a touchdown. And that's 3 touchdowns right there where this game is not even close. And that's what I kept saying was he does not have enough weapons at all. That dude dropped, go look it up. That dude dropped 3
Trust
completely.
me, he's on my fantasy team.
I'm going to find it and I'm going to put it on the screen. He dropped 3 completely wide open catches. I'm going to find it right now because it was bad. It was very bad.
It was the difference between them not having to kick a 66-yard field goal.
Yeah.
The game would have been over at that point.
Yeah.
But let me ask you a question, guys, right? Let's bring the race into it, right? Let's talk about the monkey the elephant in the room. Okay, the elephant in the room is this with the black quarterback. As young as Pop Warner High School, they're being told not to run as much because they're going to get stereotyped as a guy who wants to run first and use athleticism as opposed to staying in the pocket, right?
Well, the more you run, and the more you're going to be injury prone, it's going to shorten your career also.
Okay. I totally get that. I think I'm going to make that point. Okay. So, but now you're trying to fit a square peg into a round hole, right? Like, first of all, how many successful pocket passes are 6 feet tall? Forget the color and the explosive. Not many of them, right?
Drew Brees, Russell Wilson, and then I can't think of much more.
Okay. So, right, why can't you teach them like the Alabama quarterback was taught and like Russell was taught. You don't have to look for big games downfield, but you can do it first down incrementally and be a passing threat all the way up to that line of scrimmage. Have keen awareness of, okay, I'm going to run around and use my athleticism, but I'm not going to go vertical on my feet, okay, because there's trouble down that way. But I'm going to use the line, use that as a decoy, and make plays downfield. I think you can do both in this NFL now. I don't think like just stereotyping these guys and say, you got to prove to be a pocket passer. I don't think the young man is ever going to be that. But what he could be is one dual threat, bad dude, okay? Who, if he gets a little more discipline and some better judgment and uses that, the first down markers, and use the line of scrimmage as a way to play games with the defense, and hit some home runs downfield because guys that I think he's going to go for it and play that. It's like a yo-yo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's okay. Come on, it's that cat and mouse, and he can use that line as a weapon. I agree that he belongs there.
So, race aside, I don't think we've seen many white or black great, long-lasting, scrambling quarterbacks, though. Like Tim Tebow was.
Roger Staubach was one.
Well,
a long time ago.
Tim Tebow was, arguably the greatest college quarterback, and then he couldn't do it. And then we have like when Ryan Tannehill was first in the league, he was a scrambling mobile quarterback, and it did not work. And now you see him playing as a pocket quarterback, but being able to roll out, and that works. Taysom Hill, we all are on the same boat with him. We're not convinced because that style just hasn't worked yet. I mean, I don't think Taysom Hill, he runs with force as what's his face, what's Jackson runs with blinding speed and elusiveness. Taysom Hill's body for him. I'm not bored for him as a permanent quarterback solution. Guy like Fran Tarkenton ran around, guy like Archie Manning, but this is prior to you guys being born. And it was a much different NFL. Guys had part-time jobs. It was a little different. So I'm trying to say it into your context. Well, I think Russell Wilson does it very effectively. Patrick Mahomes
is amazing.
That's the not run first, but you gotta. I think at some point you have to be a good pocket passer.
Pocket passer?
Well, all of them are good, like just straight up quarterbacks that can run. They're not running quarterbacks that can throw. And
Josh Allen,
I would roll him. So you wouldn't roll him out more?
No, you can't. I'm just saying, how many times have we seen the run first quarterback really work for 3, 4, 5, 6 years?
I would say the last one to really, really work was probably Michael Vick.
And I think he had a pretty big downfall too. I mean, I feel like it started like super, super hot, and then it didn't stay that hot, for as long.
To be fair, I mean, not only did he get injured, but the whole dogfighting thing.
That doesn't help, I know.
Defenses, they can game plan all they want when you first come into the league to try to judge your speed until they see it on the field. After they've seen you for a couple of years, then they can gauge how to play you or make a game plan. Lamar came into the league, his speed and his elusiveness, he had an MVP year. A year or two later now, these defenses... It's
called the book. Can they get a book on you?
And that's why I think that's... Oh, sorry. That's why I think you still have to be that quarterback first, because once they do shut these things down, now the rest of the field is open for you as a quarterback. And that's where the Josh Allens and all these guys who can do both. Cam Newton, even in his, I mean, he had a pretty long.
He was as good as anybody was. It was a different style. It was a fumbling, rumbling ball. He was going to fall forward and get 5 yards.
Exactly.
On his worst.
But it was those guys who, when you shut down that running option, they could still burn you as a quarterback. And that's the one thing we haven't seen from Lamar Jackson too much yet is once you stop the run completely, can he sit in the pocket and throw these 20, 15-yard passes?
The answer is no in the pocket. My solution to that was to roll him
out.
But with some run pass options. And listen to me, we're not talking about home runs with the run. We're talking about moving the chains.
Exactly. Just
if he wanted to be cute and got 5 to 7 yards to carry and didn't get caught with the big picture of looking to get the big prize. If he could have that discipline, he would be. It would be amazing.
Can I hit you with some stats that are actually very surprising?
Yeah.
So last season, 2020, Lamar Jackson had a better QBR than Russell Wilson, Tom Brady, Baker Mayfield, Derek Carr, Deshaun Watson, Justin Herbert, Kyler Murray, Matthew Stafford, Matt Ryan.
Now, where does he fall in passing attempts?
Phillip Rivers.
Or completions.
Passing attempts.
Well,
Just because as obviously his rating is good, but you got guys throwing it 30, 40 times a game with a good QBR versus someone throwing it 20 times a game with good QBR.
That is something to.
I mean, it's just.
But isn't that the industry standard though?
But that is the QBR is the totality of your rating.
Yeah,
so clearly he's.
I just found that very interesting, only because I didn't really think that was going to be possible. Like, I knew he was good throwing the ball, but
you sure you have that stat in your back pocket?
no, I looked it up to see where he would land.
Yeah, because I think you said that to me before that it's unusually high.
Yeah, and that's where I think it's underrated. I'm not saying it's better than any of those guys, because I don't think it's better than, maybe not better than any of those guys, but I'm just saying it's very capable, and he can do it if he needs to. I just really want to see him get more weapons, and that's the biggest thing I'll keep pushing.
It's an effective stat in an argument.
Exactly.
When you pull it out there. Now, can I get one more question? I got you, Birdie.
I love Lamar. I love watching him too, but I'm going to go back to what the Hurricane always says. I don't know if you can look it up. Those numbers are.
I'll try.
Shots. What are those numbers out in playoff games, though?
I can get that. That's
Yeah,
easy.
we can get that. Yeah, because
QBR for those games.
I wonder if there's ever been anybody who's led the league in QBR that's won a Super Bowl.
I would think so.
yeah,
I would think so. I would definitely say off the top of my head, probably the year that maybe the year that the Patriots won a couple years ago, where Brady was just very consistent, just not missing a pass. I mean, not where he was like, I don't think the 20, obviously not the 17-0 one because they didn't win, but the one with the Rams might be the one. But I'll try to find it.
Now let me ask you a question, though, right? I'll stay with me before you get that right for a second.
Yeah, I got you.
When Patrick Mahomes gets close to the line of demarcation where he cannot pass the ball anymore. Do you see how he uses that line as a weapon?
Yep.
How he'll sit his ass.
he runs parallel.
He runs parallel. He's got great hips. Okay, he's running along that line.
Yep.
Right. That is the type of instruction that I would like to see Jackson remember. He doesn't use that line as a weapon. It's either 100 miles an hour or 10 miles an hour.
I don't think you can teach that, though. That's just an innate thing that's only a league level player can do it. How many quarterbacks have you seen been able to do something
Like the ones who do are the
Doug
Aaron
Flutie
Rodgers.
Doug Flutie did.
Like a handful of guys.
Yeah, who has to play that way his entire life. I watch him, and I watch him use that as a weapon, and it's like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, because if you overcommit, he's going to, and he's at the
That's
touch.
a tremendous tool he uses to frustrate defenses.
Because even the slower, like Big Ben, even last year or 2 years ago, like he's still, when he rolls
Absolutely.
out.
Big Ben was a perfect example of that.
Because he's not fast by any means.
Sure.
But him, Aaron Rodgers, those guys know how to move out of the pocket and just shift the whole defense to go wherever you want. It's tough to scramble without running. And that's where Lamar needs to get, is to not just tuck and run, but to be able to move and still be minus the
And when in
70-yard
doubt,
throw.
get to the chain and get to the 7
Or
downs,
just
right?
throw the ball away.
What am I father saying? Live to fight another day, right, Birdie? Live to fight another day.
So I found it for the 2020
Right.
postseason. He was 6th overall for QBR, which was better than Tannehill, Goff, Allen, Roethlisberger, Heineke, Drew Brees, Russell Wilson, and Mitchell Trubisky.
So a bunch
in
of
the
teams that
postseason.
lost.
So out of 14 quarterbacks.
Out of 14th, he was the 6th best for QBR in the postseason for 2020. So I really just want to see him get a free agent, big name, and I think it will boost his numbers up a lot more because teams are going to have to respect him a lot.
I mean, he did have no receivers.
If I'm buying, if I'm Ozzie Newsome, I'm going to get a prime time wide receiver for the kid.
Yeah, because he got Hollywood Brown.
That's what I'm going to get for him.
He's playing handicapped right now. He's lost his two starting running backs are out.
Three.
Dobbins and Edwards. He's playing with a third string running back. I mean,
look at that.
defenses are keying on
The guy's wide open, and there's no one around him, and that one goes right through his hands. That's number one. And then number two, right in the end zone, right here. But Again, no one's around him. It's a little small, but I'm gonna cover stage. It's a little small and a little blurry, but the ball literally lands right where it needs to land, and he can't hit it.
Yep, it's
as a wide receiver one, it's not well.
Yeah,
there's got to be somebody on the other end of it.
He needs
right. I mean, there's got to be somebody on the end of it to make the play.
Because I really like Hollywood Brown, but we all know he's not a number one receiver.
If you got a motherfucking name like Hollywood, okay, you better be a bad dude. Okay. Now let me ask you a question. Pittsburgh goes into Green Bay. Roethlisberger and
Aaron
Rodgers, 2 contemporary quarterbacks. Roethlisberger with 2 rings. Rodgers with 1. I would say with similar numbers, Riley. I mean, where are we with that at all? Roethlisberger, career Aaron Rodgers. I mean, 2 guys, first ballot Hall of Famers, right?
Easy, yeah.
How important is this game to Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers during his last year at quarterback in the National Football League?
I don't think they have a chance. I really don't. And I'll tell you why. It's not because I love Rodgers. It's just I don't know if any of you guys watched the Steelers game, but it was atrocious. Like, Ben was running out of the pocket. He threw it into literally, I'm not joking, 3. Like, there was 1 Bengal here, 2 Bengals behind him, and his receiver's like in the middle, and he threw right at him.
Hasn't always that been a book on him though, that he was a little reckless?
But 19 targets to his running back. 19 targets to his running back, which is great for fantasy. But you know what that tells me? All he can do is throw it short. All he can do is throw it short. Your running back should not get 19 targets. McCaffrey does not get 19 targets in 1 game.
So that's ridiculous. You see in the field?
So he did have.
He's gonna play, but he's not good.
He did all. Yeah, awful.
It might be one of the worst offensive lines in the league. You had Villanueva, and they never did this in Pittsburgh. Signed as a free agent, went to the Ravens. That's a hated rival.
Yep.
Pouncey was an
and you know the thing about that Villanueva? He was the one that lied to his teammates about taking a knee, and then he came out and didn't do it.
Yep.
In the locker room. No, I don't got a problem with him not taking a knee, but I have a problem with him
saying that he's going to do it.
Saying he's going to do it and not do it. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, it's a little.
So what I said, is that the same cat?
You lose your credibility.
Riley, we have a set malfunction behind you, bro.
What do you mean?
Your boy.
You're fine.
Oh, that's all right. I'll fix it.
No, get that up there, bro. I like the look.
You can keep going. It's not on me right now, so we're good.
Go ahead.
So Roethlisberger, he's in a tough spot because of what happened the end of last year, and then starting off the season the way you have this year. But you're playing behind an offensive line like that. You're under siege the whole game. So
and
he's got to throw the ball to the backs because he's got no time, right?
And to go with that, he was coming off a pectoral injury where he didn't throw the ball. He played Sunday, and then he didn't throw a ball until I believe it was Thursday's practice. So he was hurting clearly. So maybe that's also why he can only dump off to the running back. Maybe he was trying to throw and it just wasn't.
Can you count him out because of his resume completely at a big game like this? Let me tell you something right now.
I don't think
you can either.
I do.
He's got to have help.
What?
He does need help.
Hey, whatever the spread is for the Packers, take it.
6.5.
That's right.
I thought it should have been
Holy
like
6.
Nah, it should have been more, way more. I'm sorry. That team is just I'm off of it. I love Najee Harris. He's still going to be great. He's still going to be one of the best running backs in the league for it to come. But no, I'm done with that team.
TJ Watt's still out. Devin Bush still out.
To me, it doesn't matter. The receivers are out too. We can talk about how great Ben is, which he's been one of the best in history. His receivers are nowhere. Juju just got hurt last game. Deontay Johnson just got hurt last game. So they went from having 3 really young studs to only having 1 now, with Claypool who's the only one who's not injured. If Ben's already not looking good, how bad is it going to be when he's already down his 2 guys who are the check down dudes? Claypool's the over-the-top, deep ball. He can barely reach the ball further than I can. He needs Juju and needs Deontay Johnson right there, his safeties, and they're just his blankets, and they're not there.
Do you believe in intangibles? Does anybody believe in intangibles?
Definitely.
Sorry, Ben, if you're listening.
Is there any way the Steelers can find enough in that locker room to go there and win that football game? Because I'm going to tell you something right now. You don't want to be 1-3 in this league.
No, they're going to have to.
What? They're going to have to. I want to call it a must-win.
1-4, that's it.
But if I'm Big Ben, a way to back up the paparazzi and to back up the media is go to Lambeau and play exceptionally well and beat Aaron Rodgers at home and win a big football game and get back to 500.
If he's at least solid this game, then like he's doing his part. If he gets 250 yards, 3 touchdowns, then I think it clearly shows that there's a big problem in the rest of the team which the defense is blown out, injured.
Yeah.
The offensive line is god awful. The receivers are injured. There's a lot going on, but I do have this weird feeling Big Ben's gonna step up and
Every fucking
make some
time I bet
plays.
against the Steelers, they stick it right to me.
Yeah.
But when you bet for them against the Raiders, they didn't look good either.
Oh, I know. No,
And it's
I
not
know.
just a one-game thing. It was the Raiders game. They didn't look good as well. You know what I mean?
No, I know.
That's why I'm nothing against you. I'm just saying.
And they looked awful in the first half
It's a
against,
trend.
against Buffalo,
Exactly.
but they go get a win.
It's a trend. It's a trend.
Can't bet the Steelers.
No.
So I have their all-time
I'm staying
stats.
away from it. Again,
I have their all-time stats. So what really stands out to me is is Rodgers' touchdown to interception ratio. It's the best ever, which is not a debate. He's the first quarterback to ever go over 300 touchdowns without hitting 100 interceptions.
Okay.
Every quarterback in history who got over the 300 touchdown threshold
had over-
already had 100 interceptions.
Well, Brett
He's
Favre
at-
had over 300 interceptions alone.
did he really that many?
Yeah, he has the most.
wow,
There was at
motherfucker,
one
huh?
point he had the most touchdowns and the most interceptions ever.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Gunslinger.
Rodgers has 418 touchdowns with 91 interceptions.
Yeah,
like,
that's crazy.
That's ridiculous.
That's a 4-1.
Exactly, 4-1. And then Ben has 399 touchdowns, so we'll call it 400, with
I'm surprised they're
204,
that close to touchdowns.
204 interceptions.
Yeah, that's the difference.
And then the yards for Ben, we're looking at 61,149. Rodgers has 51,894. So Rodgers also sat out 3 years behind Favre, which is another big thing to think about, because if he doesn't sit out those 3 years, just imagine how many touchdowns he could have now and how many yards, because that's big missing 3 years.
What
in your
about
young
Big
age.
Ben having 2 titles compared to him having 1?
That is a thing, but they also haven't. Same thing. They won early
I'm
on.
not trying to say that Big Ben's better than
Yeah.
Aaron
No, no,
Rodgers.
I'm just-
Big Ben's teams were better than the Green Bay
Yeah,
teams.
definitely,
question.
definitely.
Top to bottom, I mean, the talent-
Receivers wise, Ben has played with ridiculous amount of receivers, and Rodgers has played with good receivers. It's just I feel like he has kind of made those receivers, like he's thrown one touchdown pass to first round picks only.
What's one thing you want to see Aaron Rodgers do?
Me?
To put him like beyond reproach. Tell me one thing because one thing that I want to see him to do is win a big football game on the road in the NFC Finals.
To me,
Or the playoffs.
I don't think he has to do anything because he's already there for me. But that's just me because I'm a huge fan of his. And
But for all his talent, he's only got one rock, Riley.
but that's fine because for me,
He's only been to one.
Dan Marino, for all of his talent, has none. And that's
Sure.
a sore subject because my godfather is a huge Dolphins fan. And for the longest time, Dan Marino was considered the greatest of all time.
Sure.
And he had none. And Rodgers has 100 times more than he does. Like, he has one more ring. Like, it's just...
But let me ask you a question. That rookie, the elite VIP section, getting kind of busy, right? You got Peyton Manning sitting in there, right? Contemporary players.
Yep.
You got Tom Brady with his ass popped in there, right? You got Joe Montana, right? You got Troy Aikman,
Ooh.
right?
You think so?
Well, look at his playoff pass percentage, unbelievable. Look at his playoff numbers passing. It's amazing. I don't think he's thrown an interception.
Let's throw Eli in there, too, because he has two.
No,
Let me finish.
no.
He has 2 Super Bowls. He has one less than one less than Aikman. That's my point. Eli shouldn't be in there. I'm just saying, going off of just because Aikman has 3, I don't think.
But Aikman could have been there 5 or 6 times if he wasn't going against Steve Young and the 49ers.
And Peyton Manning could have been there like 5 times. He wasn't playing
But he's in
Brady.
there.
So I think that's an argument against Aaron Rodgers. He played in a time where Peyton Manning and Tom Brady were in their prime.
Sure.
Ben Roethlisberger was in his prime as well.
And
Yeah.
so is Big
Drew
Ben.
Brees was
Brees in his prime.
And that's why they all have
And
one.
let me tell you, and I'm giving them all a pass.
Yep.
But let me ask you a question: who's leaving with the best looking girl? Is Aaron Rodgers' girl going to be better looking than Drew Brees'? Is it going to be better looking than Ben Roethlisberger's? Is it going to be better looking than Peyton Manning's?
The thing about Aaron
It could be because you want to know why? Nobody's ever made it look easier than Aaron Rodgers does.
That's why I love him.
Aaron Rodgers is ding.
Yeah.
It's like me throwing dots in a bar with about 6 beers in me. It's like bullseyes all night long.
If you played in the AFC for years, you had Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. You weren't getting to any Super Bowls.
Rodgers is good enough to beat them in the playoffs.
Rodgers was in the NFC.
Yeah.
Who was blocking him from getting
Drew
to the
Brees.
Super Bowl?
Drew Brees.
Who's only played in one?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, but there's still, I don't know. To me, I love what you just said. I think he's the most pure, talented quarterback of his generation. And I know I'm sound crazy.
Talented,
Yeah.
without question.
I was going to say, I don't think it's a doubt. And that's why I love him, because it's
Now
pure
let me ask you a
talent.
question
And I don't
about your locker room and captainship.
Yes.
We all both know he's not the best leader in the world out there.
And I've said that before. He's not. And I
you
don't
see him cussing out that second year all-pro fucking center the other day, and they say he does it differently. You know, he gets in your face, like where Brady's talking like on a bench, flipping out. Rodgers very direct, like you fat fucking slob. You fucking better not do it again.
The flag's coming down because it fell, and I don't want to put it back up. Mike wins round 1.
Can we get some maggots? No, not me. I got no problem with it. I love it.
I'm just kidding.
I love it.
But like also, you guys were the ones saying that it's good to yell at them and it's good to be in their face like Alabama does.
Well,
I don't know if Rodgers
said about Alabama. I don't say.
No, but I'm saying you guys. A lot of the times love when Belichick's in the players' faces and love when they're motivated. So maybe that's the way he motivates them. I don't know if it's the right way to do it.
I just don't know. Reading from, I mean, if this motherfucker won't buy his mother a ticket to the football game, you know, I can't see him tripping over the side helping of his teammates, right? We haven't heard any stories about what a great teammate Aaron Rodgers has been, right? Have we?
I have.
You have. Tell me.
I've heard somewhere Adams has said, I don't know where I'm playing next season. I don't know where Rodgers is playing next season, but I don't want to play with anybody but Rodgers.
If I was Devontae Adams, if my job was to catch footballs by the greatest guy to ever do it, as far as form and tech, and I make it look easier, I say the same thing too. But
same thing with Cobb and Jordy Nelson. They're both really upset when they left. But there is I'm not saying there's not a lot of stories against him, because there's probably more against him than there is not. And I will not deny that, because I'm probably one of the biggest Aaron Rodgers fans.
Aaron Rodgers needs one more Super Bowl victory to put him in the rarefied air of the top 3 or 4 quarterbacks of all time.
But I don't understand why. Like, serious question.
Championships break ties.
Okay, but let me ask you a question. Why was Dan Marino always considered a top 3 quarterback when he won none? Even after he retired, he was always considered up there.
Well,
that's what I don't
The
understand.
problem is, people would always say, but Joe Montana won 4. And
I know, but I'm saying,
and they would say
John Elway
Terry Bradshaw won 4.
And that's the problem.
But I'm not saying Rodgers is the pure GOAT. I'm saying Mike is saying he needs another one to put in that top 3. But everybody was.
I'm just talking about that rarefied air where there's even Manning's last Super Bowl. He didn't do much in Denver, so I'll even give up. But he needs a lot of guys have won, and if you look at his stats, Rowdy, there's so much separation from him statistically, right? With that stat, there should be some separation with Super Bowl rings though to correlate it.
With the numbers he's put up, yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean? Let me tell you something. There's nobody I bet on more. Okay, aside from not my team, than Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
All right, we buried him the other night, right? We had him, we had the over. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, I've won more easier bets. I've sat back, relaxed, enjoyed. The guy is Picasso. He's unbelievable.
He's the best natural.
I think he's
of the football out of any quarterback I've ever seen.
Of course he is.
It's just natural. The way he throws the ball.
It's a flick of a wrist, and the accuracy is the same. Did you see that pass he threw? I believe it was the tight end, where he had to sink it in the last quarter of the end zone, and it missed him by. I mean, the guy, it's a maestro. He just listen to me. Everybody has Moby Dick, right? You guys ever read Moby Dick?
Yep.
Moby Dick. The essence is you're chasing a big whale. You're chasing a big dream. You know what I mean? Everybody needs to chase it, right? Sometimes it can drown you. Sometimes it can be that albatross around your neck. I think his Moby Dick is one more title. And if he hangs around for 4 or 5 years, I think he'll probably get it. But I just think for him to have that self-fulfillment, I think with those stats being so disproportionate better than everybody else's, I think that for Aaron Rodgers, I think he wants it and probably deserves it.
Think about, I mean, to compare it to other sports, think about how Russell Westbrook would be perceived if he had triple doubles but led his team to a championship. Charles Barkley.
But we're talking about people who never did it. Rodgers at least did it once. All right, and that's my question though: is why does Dan Marino get a pass as being one of the best of all time and already in the echelon when he retired? Which I'm not arguing he's not. I'm just saying, why does he get a pass and Rodgers doesn't?
I'm going to raise that question
to
the best of my ability, because his stats were so disproportionate to everybody else's. There wasn't a Manning, Marino, Breeze, there wasn't a real clutter when he was doing that. Guys were coming and going. Guys weren't putting an 18-year thing there. Bradshaw was on his way out. Staubach was on his way out. Dan Fouts was on his way out. Favre was coming in, and his stats for 18 years were so disproportionate to it. That. And that's another thing, too. People were running the ball a lot then, too.
Yeah, I mean,
his stats. So, no, but Riley's right. The counterpunch to that argument is, well, what about Dan Marino?
And
And not everybody's going to win.
No, and there's guys like Barry Sanders, who a lot of people say is the greatest talented running back.
See, I totally disagree with that.
Are you a Walter Payton? Or
I would say Walter Payton. I would say more like a Franco Harris, Tony Dorsett type. But
now, do you think if he had Super Bowls?
They were so one-dimensional. The lines were so one-dimensional with Barry. Like, he was doing it in a fucking mess of an organization. So
I'll say, but do you think if he had like a decent quarterback who got them to the Super Bowl, do you think his name would be like
question?
Exactly.
And he pays that price. And listen to me, we're not talking about fair and balance here. No. Just like me and Riley talking about the other day about what he's talking about in the philosophical life is right. But we're talking about this fucking shitty fucking world we live in where shit ain't right.
Yeah.
I mean, the NFL, let all pro guys be homeless fucking 2 miles from their fucking stadium, sleeping in a abandoned closet, dying the night of a day. Mike Webster, one of the greats of all time. I mean, we're talking about a cruel ass business here, okay? And it's like that. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of quarterbacks now. Like, I don't put Drew Brees, with all due respect to Drew Brees, in watching the thing. I don't put him in Brady's class. I don't put him in Manning's class.
Yep.
I don't put him in Aaron Rodgers' class.
Yep.
I have him as a step below.
Yep.
I have him with Russell Wilson. I have him.
I agree 100%.
What?
Yeah, I agree 100%.
I have that.
They threw the ball a million times every year when he was there.
And how about this? 70% of their games are indoors. Yeah. Big fucking difference doing it
in New England,
in NFC Midwest or whatever conference that is, where you're fucking doing it at Lambeau, okay?
Exactly.
You're doing it
Chicago.
Chicago.
Detroit's indoors.
And Minnesota.
And then even Dango and Elway was there. All them years out there in the wintertime, too. I mean, it's a whole different...
Who do you have better on your list, Elway or Rodgers?
You're talking about two different eras. Like I said earlier, natural throw of the quarterback. There's nobody like Aaron Rodgers.
But how many people have Armstrong like Elway? I'm going with Rodgers.
We're talking winning though. Elway wasn't the best at winning. I know he won 2 Super Bowls, but those are the 2 last seasons of his career.
Yeah.
And before that, he
got embarrassed in a few Super
Exactly.
Bowls.
Before that, we could never win a Super Bowl with him, and we could never do it. Yeah. So I know he won 2, but that was the 2 last of his career.
Who was the running back that was an absolute monster? That Super
Terrell
Bowl
Davis. He had 2,000. I think he had one of the best seasons of all time for running back. 2,000 yards with like 24 touchdowns or something like that. It was stupid. It was so stupid.
The thing about Elway was you don't realize how good this guy was. At the beginning of his career, he took those 2 teams on his back to those Super Bowls. He didn't have nobody around him.
Yeah, Rodgers just took a lot of teams on his back.
The Irish Crush, baby. You ain't feeling it?
No, they weren't. I mean, they got blown out in both of those Super Bowls.
And
tell me the Broncos
every Super Bowl we lost
Tell me the Broncos quarterback that played against the Cowboys. The first Super Bowl they had. There you go, Birdie.
Every Super Bowl we've lost in has been by a lot.
Yeah,
okay, last segment, because we've been rolling on this thing for 2 hours, and we haven't even done our pick show yet.
Holy.
Like 16.5 points. Buffalo and who? Houston. Okay. Is there any game in the NFL that should ever be 16.5 points?
No.
You talk to any bookie, you talk to any wise guy, you talk to any analytics, everything guy, they're going to tell you to take the 16.5 points, but I'm still not going to do it.
Don't try this at home. Is the motto. Normally, that point spread right there, historically, the underdog's going to cover, but you're looking at a rookie quarterback who did not look good last week going into Buffalo. I would lay that number. I never do that, but I would lay that number.
How about this one? Last year, the Chiefs were 20-point favorites over the Jets last year.
And did that cover?
I'll look that up right now, but 20 points favorites.
They did.
Well,
it was a late cover.
What would be the last 10 years, the highest spread of the game?
I think that would be the one. They did cover. They did cover. They won 35-9. So
they covered by
6.
There was a lot of COVID games last year, though.
Rookie quarterbacks, we got disaster. We got to see one tonight. I'm almost getting to the point now where it's like, man, like I think they should sit.
Trevor Lawrence
At least the first couple of
has to
games.
have a good game tonight. I'm going to tell you why. Because Cincinnati's secondary, two of their starters are down.
And their secondary is not that
Yeah,
good.
if you can't have a decent game with two backups in the secondary tonight, it's not gonna
Wow. Hey, I just looked this up. The biggest spread in NFL history was the Broncos versus the Jaguars, 2013. 28 points spread.
That's why I said
28 points.
What was the final score?
Oh my God.
35-19.
So we smoked them, but it wasn't even 28 points.
Yeah.
Wow.
Josh Allen's rookie season, I think it was Buffalo went into Minnesota. What was that? About 3 or 4 years ago, they were like 18-point underdogs, and they won the game outright against.
Oh
Kirk
my
Cousins.
God.
Look that one up.
The players follow know what the spreads are.
Oh,
Let me tell you something. They'll motivate you as well as any coach will. Because that's disrespect.
That would piss me off.
Fucking right.
If I saw 28 points.
Yeah, I'd be like, yo, I mean, this is the NFL.
You know, that's bulletin board material now.
Yep.
Absolutely. All right, who's going to keep track of these picks?
I'll hold on.
All right.
Here we go.
Here we go. All right, this is the first week of the regular season.
Do you have the,
And it count.
Hey,
We're playing for the
I
wall.
want this tape to the middle of the table.
We're playing for the wall right
Playing
here.
for the wall.
And whatever's there will be behind me on the next two shows.
Birdie, what are you going to put a picture of the Marconi Club on the wall?
No, he's gonna put a picture of the Mets team. He's gonna put a picture of the Mets team.
86 Mets.
86 Mets.
A picture of Lenny Dykes.
Hey, I'll skip the game. Just tell me where the
All right,
party's at.
so the first game is
Washington, Atlanta. Washington is -1.5.
Wow. So whoever's gonna win? Where is it?
I'm going with the Birds for my boy Birdie. The dirty
You gotta
Birds.
take his football team, right?
Come to Atlanta where the players play.
I will also take Atlanta.
Atlanta. There you
All
go,
right, so we
Rouse.
got Riley,
Who are you taking?
like
Sage?
you got.
Atlanta.
I got the Redskins.
Yeah, I'm also on Washington. So
All right. Detroit at Chicago. Chicago -3.
This line opened at 6.
I'd rather be in jail than watch this game for fucking 4 hours.
The Lions are very underrated. I'll put that out
I'm
there.
going with the Lions.
I'm going with the Lions. The Lions are very
I
underrated.
don't even know who's going to be playing quarterback for Chicago this week, so that's a big question mark.
But Chicago's defense is a proven commodity, right?
I'll take the Bears at home.
The Bears. What do you got?
I got Detroit.
I got Detroit.
That's
Detroit,
3-1.
Rock City.
Usually when we go 3-1, the person with the one wins.
Yeah, usually. That's
So-
how usually NFL works.
So I'm a little scared.
Tennessee -7 at New York.
What? New York? What?
Jets.
Okay.
Birdie?
I'll take Tennessee. Jets look like the worst team in the league.
Oh yeah.
Tennessee.
How many is it?
7.
Tennessee whiskey.
Damn.
Are we
I'm going the Jets.
Oh.
And listen,
Oh.
this is because Julio Jones did not practice today. AJ Brown also did not practice today. Both of their two receivers, stud receivers.
Don't matter.
So
How do you know this? You got alerts?
yeah, and I have Julio on fantasy, so
Fantasy,
I
yeah.
need to follow it.
Oh.
But yeah, I'm worried for that. Derrick Henry's gonna have a monster game, but it could be less than 7.
Is this about is this game more about the Titans, more about the Jets, though?
the Titans? I think.
No, I think it's more about the Jets being bad.
Well,
Yeah, but if the Titans
but
come
the
out
Titans
and
have more
lose,
to lose.
what does
yeah.
that? What does that tell you if they lose?
Yeah.
It'll be terrible.
So Riley, you're the only one taking the Jets. You got-
Yeah. The Browns,
3-1,
Minnesota.
baby. What's the spread in that one?
How you like me now, Birdie?
Hey.
How you fucking like me now?
I got a stat for Kirk Cousins. Ready for this?
Yeah.
I really don't think you are. So Kirk Cousins this year, he's had 918 passing yards compared to Mahomes is 940. So Mahomes has thrown 30 more passing yards. Mahomes has 9 touchdowns. Cousins has 8, so he's 1 less. And then interceptions. Kirk Cousins has a big fat goose egg for interceptions. Mahomes has 3.
How you like that, Birdie?
Completion percentage. Ready for this? Cousins has 73.9%. Mahomes has 70.3. So Cousins is beating him.
Yeah.
Passer rating.
Hey,
Cousins
like
has
that.
118.3, while Mahomes is 111.7.
And the most important stat is they both won.
I hope to God you're not doing that in philosophy class. I hope you're not going through those stats in philosophy class.
I'm just saying, Cousins has been very, very underrated. I'm not saying he's better.
How you like
Very
it? I'm
underrated.
taking the Vikings, Birdie. How you like
You
it?
taking the Vikings?
Vikings.
Where is it?
It's at Minnesota.
How many points?
2.
You taking?
You're getting to.
I don't know who to take in that game.
Riley,
to be
who are you
honest with
taking?
I just said all that, and I'm taking Cleveland. It's 2. As good as Cousins has been, I think Cleveland's run game with Chubb and Hunt, we've seen it.
Trust Baker Mayfield on the-
But listen, last week, Kareem Hunt was the leading rusher on the team, and he's the running back too.
All right.
Carolina and Dallas. This is the pick of the week. How about them boys?
Carolina.
4.5.
But without McCaffrey, I'd have to take the Cowboys.
Exactly. McCaffrey resets like you know what a chiropractor does to a back. He puts everybody in line. He puts everybody in line. Yeah. He takes the defensive pressure. He takes the game preparation.
Ready for this one?
Yeah. That's the guy that's back.
Prop bet of the week.
Okay.
DJ Moore, receiver for the Panthers. Over on receiving yards. He's gonna have a really, really, really good game. He's been one of the best receivers in the league this year so far, and I think he's gonna have a really big game without McCaffrey.
So who do you got?
The Panthers. I'll take the Panthers.
All right.
I got Dallas.
We all got Dallas, yeah.
Okay. Houston, Buffalo, 16.
Houston.
Give me Buffalo.
Really?
Rookie quarterback going up there against that team. After the way he played.
16.
I don't care.
I don't care.
Birdie, 16 and a half will get you 20. Ask R. Kelly.
I'll take it.
I'm going with Buffalo. So
That's fucked up.
goes laugh, yeah.
I'll take Houston. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm also taking Houston.
Houston, we have a problem.
Yeah, we have a problem. We suck. and our quarterback is a serial alleged serial.
And as long as it
Denver
stays
Broncos player?
Miami Dolphins player, you guys got Teddy Bridgewater. You're fine.
Indy versus Miami. Miami -2
Where is this?
at Miami.
Yep, I'm taking Miami. This could be a blowout. I really believe that for Miami. I think Indy's very banged up. Their run defense is not great at all. I think Gaskin could have a monster game.
But when are they going to win a game?
Indy?
Yeah.
I don't think it's this week. I don't think in Miami.
Not this week.
I don't think so.
All right, I'll go with the Dolphins because I like Sage.
Hey.
Let me guess. Brady's going to go with...
Indy.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew
He
it.
had that look in his eye.
Gotta win a game sooner or later.
Well, not if you're the 2017 Browns?
Yeah.
Or 2018 Browns?
And then the 1-15 Browns right after.
Yeah.
That. They had a parade for their 1 win.
Giants, Saints.
Ooh.
Saints getting 7.5 at home. I'm going with the Saints.
Oh, man. Giants. Big game from Saquon coming.
He needs one.
He had one last week.
He had what? How many?
He had a touchdown. He had like
Yeah, I saw a touchdown
40
run.
receiving yards and like 60, 70 rushing
Okay.
yards.
The Giants in their last 11 games as a road underdog at 10-1. You get 7.5. Give me the Giants.
Yep.
Woo!
Right.
Thank you.
I got New Orleans.
KC, Philly. KC -7
Where is this? In Philly?
in Philly.
Patrick Mahomes is 2-12 in his last 14 games as a favorite. Give me the Eagles.
Look at that memory. That is great.
Fuck it, I'm going to Eagles too, Bernie.
Like you make your picks before I tell you all.
All right.
Come on, we're co-conspirators.
I'm taking the Chiefs.
All right.
Yeah, O'Reilly whispered. He doesn't want to say it out loud, but he said
Arizona.
This is the game of the week. Arizona and the Rams.
Where's this game at?
It's in LA.
The Rams are going to blow them out.
The Rams
Whoa, really?
Blow them out.
They've beaten them 8 straight times.
Blow them out.
I think it's going to be closer than people think.
I agree.
I
And
don't see a blowout.
Yep.
I think the Rams are going to win 4.5. I would take a lead.
Yeah, you're taking the Rams.
I'm taking
I
the.
think Arizona with the 4.5. I think it's going to be close.
I was telling you in the beginning of the season because I knew that you didn't like the Cardinals, and I said they could be really
Yeah, you
sneaky
were right
good.
about that,
And
yeah.
this is where it is. They're
I
3-0.
love their coach.
And
I love
exactly,
their coach.
and I think they have a great team. The defense is pretty good, but 4.5. Oh.
So who are you?
I'll take Arizona.
So do I.
I'll take. Oh my God, the Rams. I guess I'll take the Rams.
Seattle, San Francisco.
Ooh.
San Francisco -3.
San Francisco.
Something's
Yeah.
up with Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Wilson in that.
49ers.
I don't know what's going down, but they better win this week or they're going to be in trouble. I like the 49ers.
They don't win this week. I don't think they make the playoffs. I know it's early.
That's a bad
I'm taking the
division. It's not
49ers.
one-
Exactly.
All right,
Every
well,
team in
I'll
that division.
take Seattle. I'll take that one guy. 'Cause-
Baltimore, Denver. Denver -1.
That's crazy to me. I don't know how we're the favorites. I know we're.
You're
I know we're.
undefeated.
I
You're
know
at
we're
home.
3-0.
You probably have
Say
the
it,
greatest
please.
home field advantage in
Ever.
all of.
I thought you were gonna say what Birdie was gonna say.
United States professional
Birdie,
sports.
say what you said to me before we got on air. What was it?
What's the one place Brady's below 500? I think it's mile high.
It's the one team that I think he's below 500 against.
Yeah, but the most losses, Miami.
No. What'd you say before about their defense?
I said the defense right now is the best in the league.
Thank you. I tried saying if people were I kept saying in the beginning of the season we have a
haven't really been
top 5
tested
defense.
against,
Top 5
a good
defense.
offense.
But you know when they were tested? was last year, and the year before that, and they've constantly always been top 5, and they've only improved. You don't gotta ask me.
The question's been the quarterback. That's the question. So.
You guys gotta watch that fucking documentary I told you, the Bulls. I'm gonna
Teddy
get to you
B,
on
right?
my phone. I'm gonna show it to you. It's the Liberty City is where a lot of the Miami Hurricanes came from. The Blades brothers. It's one of the worst ghettos in the country. And Miami Northwest High School is a famous high school for pros to come out of. Ocho Cinco. There's a ton of them that have come out of there. And he was a freshman quarterback that brought him all the way to the state title.
I'll take Denver.
I think it's running with the Bulls, or I'm gonna look it up.
So who's everybody got in this game?
I'm going with Riley.
I'm gonna jinx Riley. I'll take the Broncos.
Oh, perfect. We're all gonna do it.
I'll take the Ravens.
Pittsburgh, Green Bay, 6.5. Green Bay all day. All day.
Yeah.
Wait, what's this one? Pittsburgh, Green Bay?
I'll also take Green Bay. Yep. Who are you guys going with?
No, and there's nobody taking Pittsburgh, I don't think.
No.
The defending champion, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, with their star quarterback, 7-time Super Bowl champion, 4-time Super Bowl MVP, Tom Brady, comes home to break Drew Brees' all-time passing record and to play his old team, the New England Patriots.
And you still got a live bet, right?
Oh, Peter Smith.
Oh, I forgot about that.
No, I'm cool with it.
I don't mean.
Yeah, Brady's got to throw for 250 yards. They got to cover and win.
What's the spread right now?
7
For what?
for the game.
For the Bucks?
Yeah, Tampa Bay is a -7. So
Give me the Patriots.
Patriots.
At home? Yes. If it's in Tampa,
They
no.
just got beat by the Saints by 3
Okay, but
touchdowns.
that's fine. But this is a different.
Oh,
Every game is different.
I hear you.
Every game is
All
different.
right, I'm saying 45-20.
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay.
Yeah, so that's what I'm going at. So.
7 at home. That's
Birdie, come on.
How do you
Come to
guys
the dark
watch
side.
Same fucking football I'm watching.
Yeah, but Mikey has a touchdown at home, and this is the Patriots Super Bowl.
Yeah, I like. Let me tell you. Ooh, I'm gonna be the fucking. What's the fortune teller? Close your eyes, young man.
Zoltar. You're gonna be Zoltar.
Ready? I'm gonna blow a whistle, kick off, and go. And that's gonna be Brady to Gronk for a touchdown in the first 3 minutes.
Richard Sherman playing this week?
No.
You told me
he's
he
not
was
playing.
playing.
I don't think he will. He won't play this week.
WEI said when we were listening to them today talking about the stupidness they were talking about, Tom Brady not looking good. You said to him, how is he going to play? You know they said.
Yeah, but I didn't think they were going to play him. I said, how are they going to put this
No,
guy in?
Lou Maloney says Richard Sherman's playing.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that. I thought they said they weren't going to play him. How are they going to put
I
him
mean,
in?
he seems
Richard Sherman or not,
Three
that
weeks.
secondary is still not good.
What, you don't pick up Richard Sherman if you can?
No, I'm just saying, Richard Sherman or not, I don't think that secondary is great.
What? You don't think that's a great pickup for them?
No, I'm saying Richard Sherman or without Richard Sherman, that secondary is still not good at all. I think that's their huge weakness to their team. I don't think Richard Sherman is what they needed. I know was great. I don't think the last couple of seasons he was with the 49ers, there was some very, very suspect aspects of his game. He got burned a good amount of times.
But so I think
Antonio Brown worked out.
Yeah, well, so I think Richard Sherman would help a lot because I think the biggest problem with their secondary is they're so young.
There you go.
So I think having Richard Sherman, even if he's playing
a rising
10
tide
guys,
floats the boat.
I think he's gonna help at least get the safeties, the corners, at least the young ones, get them on track. And if he's got to play 15 snaps, I don't think it'll.
But we're gonna talk about somebody with attitude. Richard Sherman does have a pretty
Pretty
bad
have
attitude there too. So.
Name one corner that doesn't have that.
No, I know that's fair.
Name one good wide receiver that doesn't have it either.
Larry Fitzgerald was like
Julio.
The only,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and Julio. Yeah, those
Julio's
guys are
good.
just
What's the
class
Monday
acts.
game?
Raiders in charge. We didn't get it down yet.
What's the spread on that one?
Raiders are getting 3.
Chargers.
It's
I
in
like the Chargers.
it's in LA.
San Diego, right?
San Diego's home, yeah.
Give me the
LA,
Chargers.
Yeah, like,
whatever that stadium is, Sci-Fi.
SoFi.
yeah, SoFi Stadium.
Yeah, I like the Chargers.
Give me the
So do
Chargers.
I.
All right,
I thought that line would be a little different.
Chargers.
No, you got
Riley, who do you got?
I also got the Chargers.
All right, I'll take Vegas.
All
But we got a lot of 3-1s, which
right.
I
And
like.
this is a 2-hour show we just put in the bag. Yeah, right? Congratulations. And we haven't even talked about the SEC.
Nope.
We haven't talked about the Red Sox. Birdie, are you interested in giving us a breakdown about what's going on with the...
Just cry.
Birdie,
Just
bust it out.
let it out, buddy.
Bust it out. This statement is... Hold on, Sis, get that thing going right there. Yeah, get that phone going one more time. Hold on. We gotta stop making some cash. Hold on, Birdie. All right. This segment is brought to you. The Bases and Loaded, brought to you by Ciabra Market. Check out their pre-cooked and delicious food bar. Birdie, go.
The deal with the Red Sox is 4 games remaining as of this minute. We're playing the Orioles tonight. This wild card scenario right now, I tried to make heads or tails out of this today. You need a degree from Harvard to figure out if the teams come tied in this wild card. It is going to be insane this weekend. The Mariners are a half game out. The Blue Jays beating the Yankees last night are 1 game out behind the Red Sox, and the Yankees are only 1 game ahead of us. So it's going to be nuts this weekend. Any losses this weekend, you could be pretty much 1 loss could knock you right out of this. If the Red Sox lose to Baltimore tonight, I think they might be done. Hopefully it doesn't happen. They got the Nationals this weekend. You've got to beat up on these teams. Toronto's going to Baltimore. They're going to beat up on them. And the Yankees have got Tampa at home. And Tampa's already wrapped everything up, so you don't even know what they're
There will be an upset, though. There will be. You know it as well as I do.
Seattle's at home against the Angels. They're not even pitching Ohtani, so it's kind of like they're laying down, too. So it's going to be just a crazy ending to this.
And this is just what the doctor wanted. This is why the wild card is great. You got all these teams involved.
The scenario is if 3 teams are tied for the second wild card, you have to have a round-robin playoff where the Red Sox, because they won the season series against Toronto.
They be home.
No, they get to decide if they want to play first, win 1 game win, or you sit back and let the other 2 teams play the winner. So it's just going to be nuts. Those Sox, we'll see what happens.
All right. Now, this is College Football Report. Brody around Long Flags. Howdy, y'all. How you doing? This is the Hurricane. We got a big weekend in the SEC for sure. It all starts out with Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin, that son of a gun, coming down to try to smack his mentor around Nick Saban. I'm going to tell you something. Alabama is 13.5 points favorite, and all I'm going to tell you is, Lane, you're going to wait your turn, boy. Roll Tide. Second number. These boys from Arkansas coming down here to Georgia. I don't know what they're getting themselves into, baby. This is not Texas A&M. This is not some of the teams you've been beating on. This is the Georgia Bulldogs, and they put the D in defense. Sorry, Arkansas. You're going to wait your turn. It's all about the Bulldogs. And finally, it's the Gators at Kentucky. In football, if this was basketball, you know we'd be going. But I'm telling you something right now, them Stoop boys can coach. I'm going to tell you that right now, they can coach. Football is on fire in Kentucky, and this is my upset special. The Stoops and them Wildcats are going to chop up their Gators and go get them. I'm the Hurricane. Roll Tide.